Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2024-25 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talkings, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Dave Hart, and Steve Warren.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, it's the first show of 2025 for our panel, but not for me. I was here last week, and not for our listeners. Pleased to be back, one and all?
Obviously, we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. It's useful. It's a bit of a sombre note from George there, but that's okay, I suppose. Anyway, Dave, the Daggers were tamed in 90 minutes, which was not true for all teams facing lower league sides. How would you summarise that result for us in the Emirates FA Cup?
Well, Monday night was a typical FA Cup match. We were the big team, and Dagenham were the team looking to take a big cap. But that never happened. I think from the off, Millwall were in control, and the game just was chance after chance, building up more and more pressure. And occasionally, Dagenham did put a little bit of a sprint on and give us a little bit of a surprise. So it was a typical cup game, which ran out good for us in the end.
Yeah, it certainly did. Certainly did. George, several Lions players who had not played recently were introduced. They included Adam Mayer, Billy Mitchell and Jake Cooper. Some had never played for the first team ever before, and that was Sheldon Kendall, Esse Bangura Williams. What were your thoughts on these returns and debuts?
Well, I thought that was the highlight of Monday night, to be honest. These people coming back playing. Certainly seeing the two young fellas. I would have thought Tanganga would be more than happy to be playing alongside Cooper again. And that's no disrespect to anybody. It was lovely to see Billy back in the midfield, and I thought, although the opposition wasn't top notch, I thought Billy played his normal game and looked fit and well. Mayer, I thought he huffed and puffed, but I think we've got to give him a chance and give him more games. The two young fellas, I thought, did brilliantly, although I didn't really notice too much about Kendall up front. I don't know if we gave him enough service in the short time he was on. Williams was near us, so I see much more of him as the game was on. He seemed like he was just taking it easy. He mostly passed back whenever he got the ball, except when he made that lovely run and scored the goal. So, yes, I thought seeing them new people and the other players coming back from fitness was the highlight of the evening to me, actually. So, yes, it was very enjoyable. Yeah. Very enjoyable evening.
It was. You weren't the only one who didn't notice too much about Sheldon Kendall, because many thought he was Harding, and then others thought he was the goal scorer. So it's an interesting one, that one. But, Bangura Williams, he only goes forward, it looks like, when the spaces are there, and he did it when it really mattered. Steve, well, Romain Esse has left us, and he's joined Crystal Palace. What are your thoughts about his departure?
Well, I think it's a sad day for the club and for the supporters, and it really would have been great to have Romain for the rest of the season, because there is still a chance of glory. I think his departure makes that definitely harder. We've seen him blossom this season, where by his own admission, his early performances at the start of the season needed to improve. And wow, have they. We've seen him tracking back, winning the ball back, and working the ball forward from deeper in our half. All along this, we've seen amazing skills and some truly great goals. He's the sort of player that gets the people off their feet off their seats and creates a stir in the ground. Likewise, he must have been one of the most fouled players in the division, which leads to set-piece opportunities in the opposition half. I think his confidence has grown, and we're now seeing the fruits of that and benefited from it too. In some games, the team seem to have more than one man on him, and that's also creating space for other players. It seems that this deal fits into the club's strategy of developing and sell. Being a Millwall supporter of many years, I can recall the likes of Weller, King, Hill, Carter, Sheringham, and more recently Cahill leaving the club. All great players, but eventually the club has sold them on and generated funds. Already this year, we've lost Stevenson from the youth team, and we're now likely to see the same with other members of that talented squad. I would like to think that we can keep a number of the successful youth squad together, and we might end up with another cohort of players to rival the 1988 promotion-winning team. Now he's gone and the money's coming. My only thoughts on the fee is that the club should be made to pay the lot on the nose. They are robbing us of our chance to improve our status in the division. So really splitting the fee over a number of years depletes that. It might also rein in some of the silly amounts being thrown around anyway. But whatever now, I really do wish him well and will follow his progress with interest. He's represented England in numerous age groups, and I see no reason why, in time, he won't don that senior shirt.
No, can't agree with him more. Thanks for that, Steve. Anyway, we'll take a break shortly, but before I do that, I'm just going to say many happy returns from the No One Likes Us Talking team to Jess Tuffield, now Jess Gay, and it's her birthday, so many happy returns. That's from all of us. Anyhow, let's listen to Jess and Debbie Julians.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julians here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 81 3562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
Well, I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Dave Hart, Jules Lampey and Steve Warren. Many thanks to our sponsor, G&M Motors. Why not check the Hondas out and see what else they have on site at Gravesend? Our first guest of the evening never ceases to amaze Stan Godwin, who has witnessed the fans and friends who clamour to greet him any time that he's at the Den. That's quite amazing considering it was 1975 when he left us to join the Sky Blues after recording 339 appearances for us. However, that is an unbeaten record for us as a goalkeeper. He was an England cap player too. I can hear you all say, it's Bryan King. Welcome, Bryan.
Thank you very much, Eamonn.
Hello, Bryan.
Evening, Bryan.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Well, as a bonus, they all spoke to you, so they must remember you as well. Never mind. Miles told me it was great to see you in the executive lounge on Monday night, ahead of our cup tie with Dagenham and Redbridge. Including Jeff Burnage, he said, there was a good few faces of notoriety that evening, including Ali McCoist, Roger Cross and Adam Barrett, to name a few. Did you manage to speak with any of them?
I did indeed. I'd arranged to meet Roger outside before the game. We had a really good chat, spoke about the old days. Me and Roger go back an awful long way. While I was at Chelmsford City, I played against him, and he was at West Ham in the A team in 63, 64 season.
Oh.
So we've been pals ever since and still are. Ali McCoist I saw as I was going up to my seat. I didn't realise it was him until Dean Wilson told me that he was sitting 3 or 4 rows behind us. And then when I looked at him, his indomitable Scottish accent said, "How are you keeping, big man? You're looking well. How old are you now?" "Older than you," I said, and the game commenced at the start of the second half. But I saw Adam Barrett also there, and he seemed quite relaxed and relieved in some ways to be having a rest from football and Millwall in general. But he
couldn't leave it alone, though, could he?
Can any of us? I travel from Oslo every now and again and watch a game of football. And
fantastic, Brian. I'll hand you over to Dave now.
Hello, Brian. It's Dave here.
Good evening, Dave.
Nice to talk to you again.
And you, sir.
We was watching the Spurs away at Tamworth, and they managed to get a win in 120 minutes. And Palace scraped through thanks to a single goal from a former Lion, Esse. And it could have been worse for Palace if another former Lion, Isaac Lampey, had been more clinical for Stockport. But that's cup football, as we all know. What did you make of our performance against non-league Dagenham and Redbridge?
I thought first half we made a little bit of a hard job of it. But you're always on a banana skin when you're playing these kind of sides. And what I think we have to remember is that when you see a team like Tamworth that can hold Spurs for 90 minutes, I think the FA Cup has changed dramatically. I don't like the format. I don't like the fact that a non-league club who earn a draw cannot bring a big club or go and visit a big club. I think that's part of the FA Cup. It always was and always will be for me, but that's been taken away. To have the tie finished on the day, I mean, can you imagine Tamworth going down to play Spurs away in 62,000 people, an awful lot of money, probably £1 million they'd have earned, which would have kept a club like that running for the next 5 or 6 years. And all those things have been taken away from the Cup. That was always part of it for me. I can remember at Millwall, if we got drawn against a big club, it brought excitement to the fans and also to the players. But we'd done the job against Dagenham, and it was a job. It was a cold night. The result was what we needed. I don't know whether the incentive was what we needed to go up to Leeds for the next round, but if you're going to win this competition, you've got to go everywhere and you've got to beat everybody, haven't you, really?
At my age, I can remember a lot of big clubs falling under our spell down at the Old Den. They're absolutely fantastic nights, and it's what cup football is all about.
That's right.
George here, Brian. How are you?
Hello, George. I'm very well, thank you. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
We're getting older, aren't we?
Yeah, well, you are, mate. I'm sort of staying quite young, actually. But there we go.
Oh, you wish. You wish. Go on.
This season brought some anticipated change, didn't it, with Neil's departure? And then Alex Neil has arrived as the head coach. I was sad to see Neil go, because I know it was his decision, but we all loved him. What are your thoughts on Neil's departure and the appointment of Alex Neil as our new head coach?
Well, I think regarding Neil, it was a bit of a shock. But there again, I don't think we know all the reasons. He was an icon as a player. He brought us back from, well, it could have been relegation last season. And while he was in charge of the club, 26 points out of 33 says everything. I mean,
it was incredible, yes.
If it had been over the season, we could have well been in the automatic promotion places. But it was a sad day for him to quit, as he did. a man of principle, and you have to respect his decision. Adam went with him, of course. We have a new manager now, Alex Neil, who has proved that he's quite capable about taking a team up from the Championship. He found it hard when he went up with that club, Norwich. And since then, he's had 2 or 3 other jobs, and hopefully he can make a success of the one he's got now and put us up the league a little bit, maybe even challenge for a playoff place.
Hello, Brian. It's Steve here. It's really great to speak with you again.
And you, Steve?
Football's never really that straightforward, and there are games you believe you should win, and there are others where there's sort of little chance. And I remember the FA Cup tie at Everton was clearly among one of the best. Your saves were massive in what was really an astronomical 2-0 win. Beyond that game at Everton, what other games with Millwall can you recall that were really tough fixtures that really stood out as great team performances?
You know, the next round after the Everton game, I mean, when you look back at the film from that, and especially the pitch that we played on, I mean, the pitches were horrendous at that time. And I suppose it all added to that sort of era of football. But to go up there and get the result we did against a big team was wonderful for the players and wonderful for the club.
Speaking as a fan, it was massive.
Yeah, well, it certainly was for players. We were so pleased, so happy. What we wanted was a home tie, really, but we got probably one of the most difficult teams at the time, who were a good side, Wolves, and we went up there and got beat 1-0. And to be fair, I thought we played better against Wolves than we did against Everton, and we were very unlucky. We were very unlucky to lose up there 1-0. I can remember playing Middlesbrough at home where we drew, and then we went up there in the replay, and the winners were going to play Manchester United in the next round. I think the Middlesbrough game went into extra time. I remember saving a penalty there, and Clive Thomas was the referee. He said I moved. I said, well, I didn't, but he said I did, and they took it again, and John Hickson scored the second one. So that put us out of the cup, and, you know, that would have been a great incentive for us to go to Man United at that time, I think. Leicester City, of course, at home. Played Leicester City at home. They went on to get to the cup final. We got beat 1-0 at home there. That was a big crowd. There was 36,000, I think, at the Old Den. Good atmosphere. Just the wrong result.
Thanks, Brian.
Hello, Brian. It's Dave again.
Yes, mate.
After your playing career, you've managed teams, you've scouted for teams, and you've also become a bit of a pundit too. And I noticed that one of your old bosses is now back at Everton, David Moyes. Had you on his team for the first time he managed. So what was it like working with David? And do you think he'll be a good appointment for Everton this time round?
He should bring certainly a bit of credibility back. I've seen already he's brought in Alan Irvine, who's a very good friend of his, and Billy McKinley. He's got a solid staff with him again. He's took Leighton Baines up from the youth, from the under-18 team, and brought him in as a first-team coach. I worked with him for nearly 9 years. He was very, very thorough, very professional, old school. At that time, we always had the request from him that when you're looking at players, is he an Everton player? And in that, he meant, could he settle quickly? Would he be somebody who would enjoy the area? How was he privately? We had to go into all those kind of things when we were looking at players, and also the cost. I mean, we were never allowed to bring in players like they've done at Everton for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, there's been so much money misspent up there, it's ridiculous. And that's why he's saying now, we need players. We need quality players in the side, because that's why the last 4 or 5 years they've been where they are. And David was there. I don't think we was ever lower than 8. Finished 5th once, and we got the cup final. He was in Europe most years. He's a very accomplished manager, and he designed Finch Farm, the training facility. It was all on his design. He was a very nice man indeed, and a good football man.
a nice new ground to move in soon, haven't they?
They certainly have. I mean, I played at Everton with Millwall Coventry. When you go out on a pitch like that, things that shoot into your mind is you think, well, they had the World Cup there. Pelly's been on this pitch. Yashin was on this pitch. And now I'm on that pitch with Millwall. And I can't imagine them saying, "Cool, do you know what? I played on that pitch and that Bryan King played here." How wonderful that have been. It was an honour to play on a ground that's been used in the '66 World Cup. The new ground is absolutely fantastic. Down there by the dock really is going to be a first-class facility. Let's hope that they stay in the Premier League, and let's hope that David takes them on the next journey.
Sure he will.
It's George again, Brian. Is there any chance you might go back with Dave, working at Everton?
I've spoken to him, realises how old I am. Up until I was, 73, I'd been travelling an awful lot, seen a lot of players. It was good being associated with him in respect that we brought in some good players. We brought in Seamus Coleman for small money. We brought in John Stones for just over £1 million. It was sold for 56 million to Man City. Brian Oviedo, I brought him from Copenhagen for 850 grand and sold to Sunderland for 12.5 million. Those are the things that give scouts and also the managers satisfaction. Usually the board as well. George, I think I've got as much chance of going back to Everton as you have.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'll say congratulations, you started on Monday.
You've not been there since 1973, you know that, don't you?
Well, I have.
Right, you have, yeah.
Right, okay, I'll get to my question, Annie. Romain Esse looks like he has departed the Den, and the media are also touting that we may lose to Tanga, which is, going to be a real shame. But with Esse going to Tanga, possibly departing, we'll obviously need replacements. Would you agree with that? And what positions do you think we need reinforcing as a club?
Obviously, if you can sell a player for the kind of money that they're talking about for Esse, a player who's been associated with Millwall since he was a young lad, it shows good recruitment. It shows that the club is a club that can find talent in a very strong area against a lot of competition. I could only wish the boy good luck and thank him for his service to Millwall Football Club. Tandanga was another player. I look at what they've got in this as a central defender at the moment, Archie Gray, and I think Tandanga's a better player than him. And they let Tandanga go on a free transfer as such. His signing on and his wages are quite big, and he's turning out to be a very good player. And I've also heard that, for example, Ipswich are a club that's been looking at that position. I think we have to strengthen, certainly down the left-hand side defensively. I like the fact that Billy Mitchell came back. I like his energy. I like his enthusiasm. I always call him a posh man's Terry Urlock. But he has got great energy and works so hard. He influences other players to work hard. I think he needs somebody alongside him. We certainly need at least 2, maybe 3 players who are going to improve the squad.
Yeah.
Hi, Brian. It's Steve again.
Hello, mate.
Hi. Alongside Phil Coleman, I'm aware that you are also an individual who's pursued the introduction of a former players' association at Millwall. How would you see this function, and are there any developments with the club in achieving this?
Well, actually, it was our good friend at the Community Trust, Sean Daly. Well, it's funny because I spoke to Sean on Monday night, and we've been in contact along with Eamonn. We've been discussing on the lines of what I was explaining to him, what happened to Coventry City. And that they have a very, very good former players association, of which I've been invited up to on several occasions. And they always have a Legends Day where they bring in as many of the old players as they can. And the function is that the former players association will be used in the capacity of speaking to sponsors, will be used, in the 1885, in the Gold Club, in the boxes across on the other side of the stadium, and used in the Community Trust. We could be used on the food hub. We could be presented out on the pitch, because I know Millwall, especially Millwall, They really like the former players. They like to see the old players coming back to the new den. All those things could be instituted. And we could also provide a service for the club, of course, when being presented to the sponsors, giving talks, being asked questions, etc., signing autographs, or anything of that nature. But the main thing will be bringing players back to the football club who still love the football club, as I do, and would be able to give something back from the hospitality of the football club. As I say, we mentioned this 2-3 years ago. It never got off the ground. But now it seems that Sean and Eamonn have presented a situation, especially Sean. He's been and seen Mark, and we've had a good response. Or Sean was telling us, as I spoke to Mark several weeks ago when they had all the players back for the John Doherty thing. Spoke to Mark, and he's 100% behind it, as is the chairman and the football club. So if that's the case, we can certainly get it off the ground at the end of this season and certainly the beginning of next. And along with Les Briley, we've been asked by Sean if we would be sort of joint presidents of it. And I'm quite prepared to do that. I know I live in Norway, but I've been over so many times and I still love the football club. I still love the supporters. So as Eamonn said, I've been away from the football club an awful long time, and when I walk into that football club in the car park or whatever, and people still remember you and still want you to sign a picture or a book or whatever, it's I feel very humble on that.
Do you know that Stan follows you round, and then he goes to those people and he asks them, "Do you remember old Kingy?" And they go, "Well, no, but my granddad did." Or my dad did. And I think he's got a list of about something in the region of about 250 people.
I went to see Millwall play Barnsley at Wembley.
Yeah.
And I had some very good friends with me, Mike and Linda Wastel. And we walked from the Hilton Hotel round to where our seats were. And normally it would take you about 10 or 12 minutes, I suppose. But to my surprise and their surprise, I was stopped about 100 to 150 times, wanting photos and signing programs. And I couldn't believe it, and I don't think they could. But as I say, I've always been humbled by people remembering me and remember what I've done for the football club. And I'm honoured by that.
It seems like a no-brainer to me, Brian. It just seems it has to be done.
Yes, I think so too.
I'd be a bit worried, Brian, having Stan following you around, mate.
Well, I managed to get a photo of it to the police, and I think he was shortly arrested afterwards. But, no, he's a true Millwall supporter, and I'm not sure whether Stan loved pie and mash before Millwall, but it's certainly in that bracket.
Oh yeah,
nice
he does.
man.
He does.
He's a nice man.
He does. Nice man. He does.
Yeah, lovely guy.
He's an expert on pie and mash and Millwall.
Yeah, a pie and mash connoisseur. That takes me on to, I know you are with us for the Hull and Cardiff games before you return to your beloved Norway. Are your expectations for Millwall positive in facing these sides, or are they potential banana skins at the den?
Personally, looking at the side and looking at the sides we've got playing over 2 games, I feel we've got to be looking for 6 points here. If we're going to do anything, we've got to get a minimum of 4 and certainly go for 6, because both teams are not exactly setting the world alight, are they?
No.
And certainly not the Championship. So these teams should be there for the taking. If we get the right 11 on the pitch, I think we should definitely get 2 good results. As I say, I'm looking for a minimum of 4, and certainly, in my mind, I think we should get 6 points.
Yeah, that's in my mindset as well. I've got to say that. Brian, before we let you go, we have Ted's Prediction League. Now, unfortunately, Ted's not here tonight because I think he's gone to New Caledonia to see the new Mansies that's out there. But that's a story for another day. I'm going to ask you to predict 3 scores in the Championship. These results will be collated at the end of the season, and we will know who of our guests, hosts, panel, and regular reporters are the best score predictors of the season. So here we go.
Right.
The first one is Millwall versus Hull.
2-0, Millwall.
Lovely. The next one is Cardiff versus Swansea.
Oof. 1 each.
And the last but not least is Burnley versus Sunderland.
1-0.
Well, as I always say, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts about Millwall and broader football matters. We look forward to talking to you again at the season's end and hear much more about the Former Players Association too. Interestingly, Sean Daly follows you on the show shortly, and I'm sure Sean. That's a wonderful statement, isn't it? Sure and Sean. I'm certain that Sean will share some more information with us. Anyway, all the best to you, Kari, and family members. Enjoy as you have always done, following the Lions. Brian, bye for now.
Thank you, Eamonn, and thanks to the panel, George, Stephen, Dave. And please pass my regards on to Sean and everybody else at Millwall Football Club.
We shall do that. Take care.
You're welcome, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Gentlemen. Bye. Good night.
Well, we'll take a break there and hear about Harvey's Den Cafe with Ellie Millie. Hi, Ellie. Lovely to see you here up in Harvey's Den again. Tell me, what goes on? When are you here? What can we expect?
We're here Monday to Friday from 10:30 till 5 every day, open to the public. Everyone's welcome. We're open every match day from 11:30 till 2:30.
So what's on offer at the cafe these days?
We've got everything from chicken burgers to paninis to full breakfasts, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, soft drinks, snacks, everything you could need.
And I look forward to coming up and enjoying some of the fare in not the far distant future. Well, in fact, I've already done that. The coffee is just superb. Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks, Eamonn.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Dave Hart, George William Lampey, and Steve Warren. On Monday through Friday and Saturday match days, get on down and say hello to the team at Harvey's Den Cafe, located in Ballina Road on the first floor of the Lions Centre, which is the Millwall Community Trust building. Now, there's a little bit to add on this one. There's only 5 chairs left with the shirts that are attached to them, as they're having a refurb of the cafe. And if you're interested in those shirts or the chairs, they'd like to clear them this week, and you can do that by phoning the trust and asking for Ellie. And I'm sure she'll be delighted. Now, let's hear from Ellis Barr.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks as always, Ellis. Great to hear you. First up, Paul Loading brings us the Millwall Romans and Pride update.
Hi, it's Paul Loading at the Millwall Romans with a quick update. Both teams were on a rest from last Sunday. Big game though this Sunday sees Pride travelling over to Motspur Park, Fulham's training ground, to face the London Falcons in an LUL Cup game. That's at 12 o'clock. If anyone is local, wants to pop down there, KT3, Motspur Park. That would be a big game. Falcons, good team. We played them earlier on in the season, the Romans over at Clapham Common in the GFSN Cup. They are a good team, but Pride are looking good. So we'll all be on the sidelines cheering them on Sunday. Over to predictions, which I've recently discovered I'm not doing particularly well on. So I'm still going to back Millwall. I'm going to say Millwall 1-0. I'll say Swansea, Cardiff 1-0. And Burnley, Sunderland. You know what? I'm going to go 1-0 to Burnley on that one as well.
That was Paul Loading, and Jeff Burnage had to step forward in Miles's absence this Sunday to report on the Millwall Lionesses for Maritime. Let's hear what Jeff had to say.
Millwall Lionesses were frustrated against second in the table Dorking Wanderers to be losing 1-0, but in the 95th minute, substitute centre-forward Victoria Lusambo scored a classic equaliser to give Millwall the result which was the least they deserved. The Lionesses were determined to avenge an unlucky 1-0 defeat at Dorking back in November, and they had then gone on 3 wins on the trot. They started brightly in this game in front of a decent crowd of freezing fans, and both Billy Burgess and Alice Wood shot wide from Kira Watling corners in the early stages. Just before half-time, centre-forward Lucy Gellert sprinted through one-on-one with the keeper, but she shot narrowly wide. Ironically, Dorking then took the lead when centre-back and captain Sophie Chapman was drawn out wide, and the cross from Rachel Manley found the gap she had left and was converted by Olivia Watson. Manager Ted Jones had understandably named an unchanged side from last week's 10-1 thrashing, but Gillett then had to go off, and she was replaced for the second half by youngster Victoria Lusambo, as previously mentioned. Dorking are strong in midfield, but Millwall used the width of the pitch through exciting wide players Mia Lockett and Elise Jennings, and they both ran their hearts out. However, Millwall are particularly strong in the wide positions, and when they were substituted for Esme Johnson and Liv McGregor, the fresh legs provided the Lionesses with late pressure. In stoppage time, McGregor beat her defender out wide on the right and crossed for Lusambo to get across her marker and fire home for the equaliser, amid great scenes of delight. They will now be aiming to add to this recent good run when they play Sporting Benfica at home next Sunday at St Paul Sports Ground, Rotherhithe, and the kick-off will again be at 1:30pm.
Well, that was a really good performance against the side that is in second place in the London and South East Regional Premier League. We host Hull City in the league on Saturday for a 12:30pm kick-off at the Den. The Tigers return to league action following a demoralising home FA Cup exit to down the road Doncaster Rovers on penalties. They sit in 23rd place in the Championship on 23 points. Put that into context, we sit in 14th with 30 points and a game in hand over the majority of the league opposition. And that's all down to that the lights went out at Portsmouth. Anyway, the odds for Millwall to win are even. A draw is 2-1 and a win for Hull is 3-1. Briefly, guys, is it a home win or something else? And please give me your scores after you talk a little bit about it. Steve?
For me, I think it's a home win. I'd go 1-0, and I'm hoping that Jake Cooper's going to, on his league comeback's going to score. So, and I think it's a winnable game. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't win at home.
Okay. So. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. George, if you can be as brief, that would be useful.
I don't think I can be as brief as that. You know me, I have to carry on talking quite a long time. I think Millwall are going to win this. I've been quite happy with the football I've seen recently. I think Millwall are going to win this 3-1.
Great stuff, George. Dave?
Hull, banana skin for us. We've had some great games against Hull, and we've got some unexpected results. But as been previously mentioned, I think it's a definite home win. I'm going to go for 2-1.
You're going to go for 2-1? Well, what I'm going to go for is another Desmond. 2-2. Apart from that, how do we see the 2 other games going? In making your score prediction, remember, you cannot predict the same score as each other or me. what are your predictions? Well, I'll start this time. I'm going to go for Cardiff 1, Swansea 1, Sunderland 2, Burnley 3. Over to you, George.
I'm going to go Cardiff 2, Swansea 2. I'm going to go Sunderland 2, Burnley 1.
Steve, I misplaced you, but I've got you back now.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Cardiff 1, Swansea 3, and Sunderland 1, Burnley 2.
And Dave, all over to you, mate.
2-1 to Cardiff and a 1-0 to Burnley.
Okay, that's great stuff. Thanks for that. But do we have any thoughts about our game against Cardiff on Tuesday evening? Steve?
Yeah, again, pretty much like the whole game, I do think that's a should-win game. I do think it'll be tight, though. I can't see us suddenly breaking out and scoring goal after goal after goal. I think it's going to be an evolution, not a revolution. So I still think it'll be tight. I think it'll be about the first goal, and I just hope we score it. And I think again, I think we'll probably hopefully win that, but I think it'll be a 1-0 game.
Okay. George?
You know, I like the evening matches. I think we're going to beat Cardiff. I'm fairly confident with what he's doing at the moment. So yes, I'm confident. Would you like me to give you a score on that, or no?
Well, if you want to give a score, you're welcome.
No, it's fine. I gave the score, didn't I? So no, it's all right. I'll wait.
We're okay. Relax. It's all right. We're Millwall. That's it. Okay, Dave.
Yeah, there's definitely a winnable game. So I'm going to go for a home win, obviously, and I'll go 2-0.
Well, yeah. Well, that's nice to hear that you'd go 2-0 with it. I think that's... Anyway, we also have a prediction from Nick Wythe.
Hi guys, this is Nick Wythe. Here are my predictions. Millwall 3, Hull 0, Cardiff 1, Swansea 1, and Burnley 1, Sunderland 0. Thank you.
Well, Nick is delighted. He's still up amongst it all and believes Ted has got New Caledonia for Manzeys mixed up with the Old Caledonian Road, where Manzeys does not exist. We'll have to tell Ted about that one. We must thank Dave Hart, who collates the results, often under arduous conditions. And well done, Dave. Good to have you on the show.
Why, does he do it out in the open or something? They're not under arduous conditions.
Arduous conditions don't mean that you're outside. Arduous conditions
I thought it might have been raining on
you might have.
like
Arduous conditions can mean that you're struggling to get the information passed over to you. People are communicating ineffectively and all things like that. I'll send you the book this week, George. Anyway.
I thought he was sitting out in the rain.
No. He might do. I don't know. Well, that, as always, and including Ted's interjection there. Oh, no, sorry, it was George's interjection. I forgot. With the added handicap of not being able to make the exact predictions of each other, well, wasn't that fun? But for now, we'll have Phil Coleman, tales from his locker room.
Hi everyone, Phil Coleman here again with some tales from the locker room. Some fans have requested that I talk about the managers that I served under during my time at the Den. So here goes. I started off as a 15-year-old under Billy Neal. He took the youth team training and the schoolboy training, and I credit Billy Neal with an awful lot, and he gave me my first games in the youth team as a 15, 16-year-old. But above him at the time was Gordon Jago, the manager, and Theo Foley, his assistant coach. They were in charge. I didn't have much dealings with Gordon, to be honest with you, but Theo was a different kettle of fish. Theo was always around. He took an interest in us youngsters. He demanded standards. He always cracked a few jokes. He was great for some banter in the change rooms. And I got on quite well with Theo and later in life as well. The next manager was George Petty with his assistant Terry Long. I classed George as my dad in football. George signed me professional, gave me my first professional contract. He played me in the first team, gave me my debut against West Ham. He also dropped me, but he put an arm around me and he explained to me why he dropped me. He never sold me when Brighton came in for me for 400,000. He never sold me. But what he did do, he gave me a 4-year long-term contract instead. As I said, he gave me my debut and he played me in plenty of games. And he also told me to go and learn my trade. He played me at centre-back. He played me at right back. He played me right wing. He played me left wing. And he trusted me. So I owe George Petty an awful lot. And his assistant, Terry Long, was also very good. And Terry gave us little comments here and there. And they made a big difference. And I credit Terry for my goal in the FA Youth Cup final against Man City in 1979. He said to me at half-time, Phil, you're getting into the area too early. Just hold your run that little bit more. Kevin O'Callaghan put it on the penalty spot and boom, I held my run and the header went in and we won that cup. Sadly, George and Terry were sacked and they left. And for me, the person that came in as manager, Peter Anderson, personally, I can only speak for myself. I thought he was a nightmare. I firmly believe he wanted every young player out of the club. He never had a decent word to say to me. He was always negative towards me. And in the end, he sold me by telling me, basically, if I didn't accept Colchester United's offer, I'll be the 5th choice centre-back. And you'll see out 4 years playing in the reserves. So when a manager tells you that, there's no way you're staying. So sadly, in February 81, under Peter Anderson's tenure, I don't actually want to talk about him, to be honest with you, because he wrecked what I'd worked so hard for. I returned to the club in 1984 to train and play a few reserve games. Roger Cross, who for me did an awful lot of unseen work looking after the youth team and the reserves. And he gave me some training sessions and to keep me fit. I didn't have a club and he played me in the reserves. But I trained with the first team. I trained again under George Graham and again Theo Foley. George was tough, very demanding, very disciplined, a lot of attention to details. I mean, set pieces on a Friday, setting up attacking set pieces, they could go on for hours, literally. And George also painted a white line between the players' lounge and the offices, and you were fined if you went over that white line. Nobody was allowed to go into the offices to talk to anybody. So a lot of discipline with George. And some players got him, some players didn't, but I was only there for a couple of months just keeping fit and playing some games. But George did call me into his office one day to say, a friend of mine's interested in you. I said, oh yeah, who's that? He said, it was Ron Harris at Aldershot. Go down and have a chat with him. I went and spoke to had a chat with Ron, and I enjoyed just under 2 seasons playing for him. So thanks to George Graham, I enjoyed my time at Aldershot before returning to the Den in the summer of '86 under John Docherty, who we've just sadly lost, and also Frank McClintock, who the Doc got into the club in his second year. The Doc was very good. He treated players with respect. He was tough. He was demanding. He wasn't afraid to have a go. He patted you on the back. And I think bringing Frank into the club at the start of the '87 season just shined everything. Frank was very, very good. He had lots of little tricks up his sleeve that he implemented, and that made the difference in games. So I've had some great managers over my time at the club, some better than others. I owe George Petty an awful lot, and I phoned him a couple of years ago and thanked him for everything he'd done for me. And some not so good, and that's probably why I'm still living in Colchester. So it can't all be that bad. But yeah, more tales coming up, and hopefully that's been interesting for you fans out there. Bye for now.
Yeah, very interesting, Phil, very interesting, and thank you ever so much for sharing those thoughts. There's lots of people that do listen. Anyway, it's about time we heard from Harvey Brown talking about the Lions Food Hub.
Hi, Harvey Brown here. I am proud of the Lions Food Hub, which is jointly owned by Kelly and Ellen Webster, and they have been supporting families within our community for over 2 years on Millwall match days. If you would like to donate to them, they have a match day donation hub by the Esse 16 bar at Colblow Lane, end of the ground, where they accept any food or money and toiletry donations. If you can help, any donations will be received with thanks.
Thanks, Harvey. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Like It's Us talking team, Dave Hart, George Lampey and Steve Warren. If you can support the Lions Food Hub, your donations will significantly benefit those in need. Our second guest continues to raise the bar for others to follow, as his organisation continues to amaze with its achievements. Yes, let's welcome our Millwall Community Trust CEO, Sean Daly. Happy New Year too, Sean.
Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year, Sean.
Happy New Year, Sean.
Happy New Year, Sean.
That's handy. They've all remembered what to say, so that's not bad. Sean, it's great to have you on the show. We had Ted Jones on the show last week, and he is so pleased with the support the Lionesses received under the new arrangement. How is it doing from your perspective?
For us, we're vastly experienced in running football clubs, football teams. We've got a girls' academy, we've got the Romans, Pride, Pan Disability, our wheelchair team. And so for us, it's just a natural fit, that we've got a girls' academy that goes up to 18, and we should be running the women's team for the level they are. So for us, it was just really giving the women's team some stability and a bit of guidance. And, I've got a lot of officers that are very experienced in coaching and running teams. So for us, it's been excellent. If you look at the team, it's the same team that was at the beginning of the season where we brought a goalkeeper in. But we're there to support them and hopefully support women's team and get the Lionesses where they should be, back up the league. So for us, it's great, and it's great for the younger girls at the academy to see the Lionesses doing so well. So we're just going to continue pushing it as much as we can to get it forward with them.
When he was on last week, I think we all said that Ted has got some demonstrative passion about how he talks about them and what he wants to achieve. So, yeah, it really does feel good.
I think that's what the girls want. That's what the women's team want. They want someone that believes in them and wants them to achieve the best they can. And I think Ted and Jack are brilliant at that. Their passion comes out, and of course, then it comes out in the players, and then the results will follow. So, no, we're really pleased with what's going on. Really pleased.
Yeah, and we shouldn't forget Jack Wilson as well. He does a great job with them. So, thanks for that. It's great stuff.
Hi, Sean. It's Dave here.
Hi, Dave.
Hello, mate. Great news to hear that a great friend of the show, Gianluca Sardi, won the Talented Young Italians Awards 2024 in late December at the Italian Embassy in London. His dedication on receiving the award went to you and others. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, Gianluca's a great supporter of the trust and has always been. And, every time he's in the country, he always pops in and sees me. And he's always there and, can I help out and different things. And he's been just a great supporter of Millwall and Millwall Community Trust. I think he really understands that the impact that a football club can have in the local community. And I've seen him, outside football as well, at different events. And he just phoned me up and said that, a couple of years ago he did a talk around the community trust, and he wrote to me and he asked if I could give him some information about the work we were doing in the local community and the sort of case studies that came from it. And he did a presentation. I think it was a college, or there might have been the Italian FA at the time, around how important a football club is to the local community and how it can impact on his lives. And I think from that report and from that piece of work he did, he presented that to the embassy, and the embassy gave him the award for that. So it was an absolute honour. I mean, he's talking so highly about the trust and the work it does and the football club. So it's just nice to have a great supporter like that. But I treat him as a personal friend because he's always there if I needed anything, and, he helps me with everything. So he deserves the award. He's a great bloke.
It's great.
Here.
Georgia, Sean, I noticed it's been a successful year for the Millwall Community Trust Pan Disability Group. What was the highlights of the group over the course of 24?
Like I said earlier on, we do lots of football teams and football clubs, So, from the LGB football team to the women's team to the girls' academy, etc. But ones that we've got as well is we have a wheelchair football team that are based out in Greenwich called the Greenwich Lions. They play in a league, and then we have various pan disability teams. So we have an adult mental health team, a physical disability team, and then a pan disability team. what we try and do with all of these groups is lots of coaching sessions, lots of building up social skills, etc. But what they really want to do is they want some competitive games. So like our wheelchair football, play against Brighton, Sevenoaks, Norwich, QPR, clubs that have got the same teams, wheelchair football teams. And we do the same with the pan disability teams. We will have highlights of games this season against QPR, against Arsenal, against Tottenham. So for them, the highlight for us is seeing them go into competitive games and representing Millwall. Every time they have a game, that is a massive highlight for us because we want them to achieve the best they can, but then to compete against other clubs, and represent Millwall is just brilliant. So they've just had a great year, as all our disability and all our teams this year have. We just want them to wear the Millwall shirt, be proud. I mean, they won a competition at Arsenal the other week. I think they travelled down to Brighton and won a competition down there. So for me, the big step for them is to take that training and then go and play competitive and represent Millwall. So, we're going to continue trying to find them competitive games that they can play all season this coming season.
How can people with different abilities get involved in this sort of stuff?
The best thing is to contact the office. We run coaching sessions on a Friday. That's for the evening for the pan disability. And that will be someone who's got physical disability, but also mental health disability. We had an adult mental health program that we run on a Friday afternoon. It's really just contact the office. We'll put you in touch with Jubin, who's our community officer, and we'll find you that level to be there. If it's a young person that's using a wheelchair, we have coaching sessions on a Thursday evening in the power hairs. We will accommodate them in some form of training and then competitive sport.
That's great. Well done, mate.
Hi, Sean. It's Steve again.
Hi, Steve.
It's great to talk with you. We heard earlier on from Bryan King, and he expressed his hopes for the Millwall Former Players Association to be in place this year. Phil Coleman and Eamonn have indicated that the way forward is coming into place. Can you tell the listeners your expectations surrounding this Former Players Association?
Yeah, one big thing for me is that Millwall have a history. There's some unbelievable players that have played for Millwall. I'm very much about recognising people for the effort and the work they put into the club. That's not just the players, but people behind the scenes as well. And I've been working for a year now with the club about, I want to set up a Former Players Association where we can recognise these players, where they can come to the matches, the current Hut matches, and be recognised by the fans and sort of rewarded for their time of working with the club. I'm trying to get some former players involved in some of our player appearances. We use a lot of the current players to go out and support our programmes, but, Les Briley's been out to some of our programmes. Brian Hall's been out. Bryan King's been out. And I'm working very closely with Mark Fairbrother at the club to get that going this year. It's going to be 150 years of the formation of Millwall Football Club. So what I want to launch in 2025 is I want to launch a Former Players Association, invite them to games, have a Hall of Fame where these players will be recognised for the work and the commitment they brought into this great club, but to be recognised by the fans. And I think we don't have enough of that at the moment. A couple of weeks ago when the 80s team came, the respect and the approach they got from all the fans, I'd like that every person that, ever donned that shirt of Millwall. So I'm hoping it's going to be 2025. I'm going to launch it. It will be in association with the club and the trust. And then I want to continue doing that. Every couple of months we honour someone and put them into a Hall of Fame.
Brilliant. It sounds like a fantastic idea. And speaking as a fan, it's just lovely to see them around the ground.
Yeah, and, I've done lots of evenings over the last 2 years with former players, welcomed by the fans. I had one with, Neil Harris sold out within like an hour. I've had ones with Ben Thompson, Sean Williams. I want to do more of those, but I want to bring those older because they got great stories about, their journey of Millwall where it's very different from now. And fans want to hear that and see those players. So I want to get this Former Players Association up and running.
Well, good luck. I hope you manage it.
I'm certain he will. Sean, is there anything coming up before we see you about 4 weeks down the line that we should look out for?
We're going to have the holiday camp starting in February. Got a lot of our programs are back up and running now since the Christmas break. Got our player development centres up and running again. They've started up again. The girls' academies restarted. Saturday morning clubs have restarted. So all the programs are starting to come on board now. We've opened an employment and education centre up at the Lions Centre.
Yeah.
Which is like a mini job centre where people can come in and use our facilities to try and find employment within the local area. So that opened last week. So that's up and running now. So, yeah, we're just really getting back to, the break. February will see us again doing our free holiday camps for the children. So that'll be a big one again for us. But it's literally getting back into normality and getting our work up and running again.
Normal running. Yeah, I see Stan has been circulating your job centre stuff all over social media. So,
it's quite a big thing for us. Job centre, we've been doing some job fairs at the centre for a couple of months now. But Department of Works and Pensions, really liked it because they were struggling to get people to come into the traditional job centre. Yeah. But for young people to come to a football club and look for work's a little bit different. So they sort of put a fixed job centre at our place now in the Lion Centre upstairs where young people can come in, use our facilities and see if they can find work.
Utterly brilliant. So on from being brilliant to scratching your head and it's prediction time. So I'm going to ask you to predict 3 scores in the Championship. As you know, the results will be collated at the end of the season across all of those that come on. And if you're lucky, well, you might receive some gift of some form. So can I please have you up for the following? First one is, of course, Millwall versus Hull.
Yeah, I'm going to go that we're going to win 2-0.
2-0, sounds good to me. Cardiff v Swansea.
Oh, Welsh derby. I'll go for 1-1.
Okay. And lastly, Burnley versus Sunderland.
I'm Burnley 1-0.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Sean. You could be lucky and win a prize. But thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to talking with you again next month. All the best to you, the Trust team, and to your family. And brilliant to have you on. Bye for now, Sean.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your support. Speak to you soon.
Yep.
Thanks, Sean.
Bye, Sean.
Cheers, bye.
Ta-da, mate. Well, we'll take a break there and listen to Bethany explain how you can support the Millwall Community Trust.
The Millwall Community Trust is something that I, Bethany Manctalo, admire for all that it does. The Trust was established in 1985 to provide sporting, educational, social and healthy lifestyle opportunities to the local community in Southwark, Lewisham, North Kent and the wider community. Its work is targeted at people of all ages, irrespective of race, gender or sexual orientation, and runs programmes aimed at tackling social exclusion, racism, knife crime, lack of employment opportunities for young people, mental health and disability. The Trust aims to be a progressive and campaigning charity that makes a difference to ordinary people's lives. Its work is undeniably essential to the local community. Donating to the Millwall Community Trust is easy. Visit their website and click on the Get Involved section. There are also sponsorship opportunities. To support this work, email commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'll say that again. That's commercial@millwallcommunity.org.uk. If you can, please help them to continue their vital work.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Dave Hart, George Lampey and Steve Warren. If you can donate, you will help our Millwall Community Trust to deliver all their programs across all age groups and abilities of people within our community. Well, we're all looking forward to Saturday's game. But in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for football fans, Millwall fans, and those that are interested in what our community does.
Next week, Miles will host a panel of Ted Robinson, Stan Godwin and myself.
The Millwall Community Trust has facilities to hire at the Lion Centre, That's their main office adjacent to the Den and also at St Paul's Sports Ground in Rotherhithe. For booking inquiries, please get in touch with the Millwall Community Trust on 020 7740 0503.
As you heard earlier, Millwall Lionesses continue with league action as they host Sporting Benfica at St Paul's Sports Ground, Salter Road, Rotherhithe at 1:30 p.m. this Sunday. Why not get along and roar on our Lionesses as they look for another league win?
Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us talking team, bring reports from our games, both home and away, for the Lions, Lionesses, Romans and Pride, and also updates on Mill Community Matters on a Maritime, a radio broadcasting, as Dave clearly said, on 96.5 FM or from their website. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook and X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr and all popular podcast sites. Well, thanks, Stu.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, everyone.
And thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Eamonn.
And thank you all for listening. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night. Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by G&M Motors of Gravesend, Honda dealers and much more. Thank you.